Hey, what's up, y'all? This is RantNRavinFection, and let's get to the rant, baby. Today's rant's gonna be about women of video games. Now, when it comes to games of this generation, and even like since the 90s, mid-90s especially, it really started off when you had games like Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and the objectification of women in video games. That's when it really sort of blew up into the mainstream, and when 3D games started to be created, all of a sudden you got these 3D polygonal models, and now you can create like 3D people, and when they created Lara Croft of Tomb Raider fame, she basically became the poster girl for video game babes, good-looking women with really busty, thin waist, what I mean, that stereotypical look of basically how women are portrayed in video games to this day. Not a lot of guys will probably complain about it, not a lot of straight guys, but as a straight dude, I think it kind of bugs me because whenever I look at a video game today, all I see is these women with like unrealistic measurements, and it's just crazy. Of course, it's not just video games, man. You see it in toys, like Barbie dolls and things like that. You see it in movies and TV shows where all they have are these good-looking women. And so, of course, when it comes to video games, if you can create female characters, why not give her, big boobs that are like twice the size of her head? Each one of them really huge, well-endowed women, and thin curves, and really like sexy, beautiful woman. But at the same time, like they all look the same, and it's not realistic. Not all women look like that. As a matter of fact, very few women look like that. I think it would be better if they actually started to make realistic characters. Now you can argue that in video games, it's just a video game. It's not realistic to begin with. You're gonna have all the way from Mario to Duke Nukem to the games of today like Halo and etc. etc. These games are not realistic anyway. The male characters, they're all buff, they're all really muscular, they're all some of them have superpowers, and it's just make-believe. So why not make a video game character, a female character, that doesn't show off her cleavage, that doesn't have, not so conservative to the point that it's like, oh man, come on, but just more realistic measurements. Not every girl has to have boobs the size of freaking Saturn. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of messed up the way that I look at it, because I don't know, it's just something about it just irritates me. They all look the same. Like there's no variety in females anymore. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it bugs me. You know what I mean? I don't like seeing women objectified, and I think it's partly because I kind of understand how it is for women. I got a sister, and whenever I play video games with her, I know she's turned off by women who look like that. You know what I mean? Women who are just objectified. Very little clothing. Only covering a bra and panties. Like that's it. When we play a video game like Soul Calibur or a wrestling game or something like that, she gets turned off by that. And I think I can understand that. It's kind of like, this girl has like big tits. What's the point? You know what I mean? It's like they all look the same. And like, I don't want to come down and sound so fucking stuck up or whatever. Like, I don't want to sound like that guy who complains about like everything in video games. That's just one little aspect that I don't know. I mean, whenever I play fighting games are very notorious for this. I love fighting games, but it's like, look at any fighting game, Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur. All the girls, all the female characters are supposed to be like these tough women, tough fighters who are like, they can kick ass, but all of them, have like big breasts and everything. They all look the same. So it's like, can you really fight like that? You know, can you really have that physique and really kick somebody's ass? And who knows, you might be able to, but you know, like for example, if you look at real life female fighters, you know, women in real life who fight, such as, you know, like MMA fighters or female boxers or female martial artists, you know, the majority of them have, like, if you look at, compare those women, those real women, to video game female characters, they don't really look much like each other, you know. The physique of female fighters tend to be, you know, they're very lean. Yes, they got abs and everything like that, but their breasts aren't like so huge to the point that it's like, oh my god, you know, they're all, like, bouncing everywhere. Like if you play Soul Calibur 4, all the female characters have boobs the size of, you know, 2 planets each, and they're all bouncing, and it's all just fan service. And fan service irritates me because it's cheap heat. You understand what I'm saying? It's cheap heat. It's like in the pro wrestling business, cheap heat is like, you know, getting reaction from a crowd, but unoriginal, in an unoriginal way, in an uninspired way. You know, it's cliche basically. It's like, you know, when a pro wrestler who is a heel, a bad guy, insults the hometown, you know, the town that they're in. So, you know, F this town, you know, this town sucks, and all of you are just a bunch of this and that, and I can't wait to leave this town. That's cheap heat, you know. People will boo because, you know, they're supposed to boo him because he's a villain, he's a heel, but it's cheap, you know what I mean? It's not, he's not doing it in a creative way. And I think that that's the problem with the video games. They're just trying to get a cheap pop from predominantly male audience that are gonna play these games. You know, it's like, oh my god, that female video game character is so hot, and I want to play as her, or I want to see her in a video game because she's so good looking and she's got such big breasts, and it's like, oh my god, it's gonna be you know what I mean, like that sort of ew, that perverted kind of mentality. And come on, like, I'm a guy, I can understand that, you know what I'm saying? I understand that point of view. I know what it is, I know how it is to want to see that, but at the same time, seeing it too much, you know, in the video game industry, I think that, you know, why don't they just chill and, like, put more realistic women? I just don't understand that. Why? How come everybody has large breasts and big boobs? Not every woman has that. You know, it's like, it's almost like it's the fantasy version of how guys want to see women, which I think is wrong, because women are beautiful no matter what shape or size. You know, I think that women are just, you know, I love women, so come on. I just want to see more originality in female character designs, more realistic. It doesn't have to be like totally like, you know, every woman has to be this kind of, you know, this kind or this type or this body type, but you know, there's no originality. It gets boring, you know, that, you know, I can't enjoy a video game when every girl looks like a bunch of strippers, you know, instead of like respectable women that I can actually wanna, you know, get to, you know, like, and get to actually warm up to, as far as, you know, hey, I like this character, you know, she's not oversexed, she's not, you know, she's not just eye candy, she's got, you know, other things going on, you know, she's got powers, she's got, you know, whatever kind of game it is that makes her interesting, as opposed to just, hey, she's got 2 boobs, so, you know, yay, you know, let's play as this girl. So anyway, that's my first ever rant and raving stuff, blog, whatever you want to call it. This is RantNRavinFection. Try and subscribe to this because I got more ish hopefully to come. So just stay tuned. Peace.